For the last 2 decades, in the early morning, while most of us were still soundly asleep, Heather's headed to work. Up this elevator, through an almost empty newsroom.
Vladdy came first and said one more, and then like everybody had a
Past
little...
the camera?
Yeah.
Back somewhere in the show.
Oh, were you his dad watching the home run, like Davis now?
Yeah.
Linda, we may be live out on location tomorrow.
A job she still, after all these years, adores.
3 minutes. Have a fun show, everybody.
Are you going to miss it?
I am, and it is truly. We are the tip of the spear, aren't we? People know who we are, but these are the people who put together a newscast, and they work incredibly hard to do that for us and with us. Good morning. It's Monday, September 15th. I'm Heather Hiscox. Here's what's making news right now.
Watching you on television, there are a few things that come to mind. Your excellence, for sure.
Thank
But
you.
also you seem to love your job. Do you still love your job?
More than I did on the very first day when I was 17, which is incredible to imagine, 43 years ago. Absolutely. I love every day. I feel like I'm starting every day, the career all over again. Every interview is fresh. Every guest is interesting. There are things that happen, that might make a show go awry, and you might love it a little less in the moment, but every day I love coming to work.
But if you love it so much and you're still clearly so good at it, why are you leaving?
I've been thinking about this for some time, but there's always something in our business, isn't there, to keep us engaged and interested? There's always another Olympics, there's always some other royal event or some interesting political event or thing that you want to cover, that you want to be part of, and that has kept me going. But at a certain point, when I turned 60 last year, it sharpens the focus a little bit. You realize there's a lot less time behind than there is in the future. So if you have any aspirations of doing anything else, this is the time to do it. And so even though the prospect of walking out of this building and this newsroom for the last time is daunting, and it's kind of emotional sometimes to think about, it's the right time.
Also, when I think about you, I think about how horribly early you wake up every day for work. You posted a picture on Instagram with a series of alarms on it. Is that how you wake up? Like all those alarms have to go
And
off?
more. Those were just the only ones that fit in the picture.
So tell me the morning wake up strategy.
2:30, the radio goes off, and that gives me local radio news. So I wake up to the local radio station and I listen at 2:30 in the morning. As my Instagram says and my ex says, happily waking up. Generally, I am happily waking up, but the radio goes off and I listen to whatever the headlines are for the first 9 minutes and then spring into action. And one of my proudest accomplishments is I've never slept in. Never once, touch wood, because I have a few more shifts to go, never once in 20 years of doing this job. And I think it's because I have 3, 4, 5 alarms going every single day.
Let's go way back for a moment. 17 years old, your first job in your local radio station at Owen Sound. I'm going to ask you your impressions of that. But first, I want to play you a piece of tape. And we just want to get a sense of what the 17-year-old Heather Hiscox was like.
She certainly stood out at that point, no question. To me, she was mature beyond her years. She was so articulate, very engaging and sincere. Just very, very, very impressed.
My first and still likely my very best boss, Rick Moss, who hired me. It's a very strange origin story for 2025, but if you think back to 1981, when I was 16, I was Miss Teen Canada. So at the end of my year as Miss Teen Canada, they said, would you ever be interested in learning how to be a radio announcer? And I thought it would be a fantastic summer job. So at a small town radio station on weekends, you do it all. And after third year university, I was here in Toronto studying French, language, literature, and translation with a view to law school. I thought, what am I thinking about law school for? Because this is what I love. And I'd like to study this further. So I went to Western and did my master's in journalism, and my career developed from there.
And after that, like what a broadcast career you had before you walked into this building. Anything about that stage in your career that kind of stands out?
I started at Global in Toronto when I started seriously into journalism, and then Halifax, Montreal, which I'd probably still be, it would still be my city in which I was living and working had I not married a man from Ontario. But then that was Hamilton. It was part of the same company at the time. And then eventually to CBC, first as a correspondent and then the morning show. But all along, different broadcasters, different companies, and different cities, so valuable in exposing me not just as a visitor, but someone who lived in many parts of the country.
Here, we're right outside the NO headquarters on St. Catherine Street in Montreal.
The other aspect is my jobs changed in all of those positions. So sometimes I was a reporter, sometimes I was on radio, sometimes it was more entertainment oriented, sometimes it was current affairs, sometimes it was, more traditional anchoring. And then I've been able to pull all of those jobs and roles together for the morning show, which really to me is a job that's tailor-made to me and my interests and experience.
20 years on the morning show. And one of the most amazing moments in a series of amazing moments was after the earthquake in Turkey and a live rescue on your show.
The number of dead now in Turkey and Syria passes 21,000.
A major earthquake in Turkey and in Syria. Tens of thousands of people were killed and the devastation was enormous. And Briar Stewart was sent to cover it for us at CBC News.
Oh, let's listen.
This is the moment, Heather.
They pulled out a woman who had been under the rubble for 5 days. And she was alive. And there was Briar as they put her on a stretcher and put an oxygen mask on her and then took her away.
How does it feel to bring her out?
I am happy.
It was just this wonderful moment, and we were there from the very start. It was terrific television.
Interviews. I mean, you've done thousands of them. One of your favorite interviews is with two young guys talking about space.
Back in 2020, we had these two little boys who were 11 at the time, Alfie Chan, and Theron De Silva.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Thanks for being guests on our show together.
And they were great friends from school, and they were space nuts. We used to call them the space whiz kids, but they loved things having to do with space.
But I did see Saturn's rings, and I did see Jupiter's 4 moons.
Whoa. How often do you two guys talk about space?
A lot. A lot.
It was just infectious. People responded so well to them. So we have had them on the show, I think 8 or 9 times since as they've gotten older. And one of them in particular, his voice has dropped over the years. It's really been fun to see.
You've done the morning show from various places around the world, including from, 10 Olympics?
10 Olympics,
10
yes.
Olympics.
Heather Hiscox, CBC News, Athens.
Heather Hiscox, CBC News, Sochi. Heather Hiscox, CBC News, Paris.
What was the highlight for you?
They're all memorable to me. But 2010 and Vancouver, our home Olympics, interesting, we didn't have the rights at that time. CTV did, of course. And we weren't working on the final day. I could go to the men's hockey games. So I was among the, I think it was 18,000 people on their feet and everything flying and everybody hugging. Everyone joyous, everyone so proud. That's a moment of the Olympics not working that I will certainly carry.
You have a lot of wisdom. You also strike me as somebody who is optimistic. A message here maybe for the consumers of news who may be feeling like, what do you watch now without getting depressed? What message do you have for them?
Watching the news, and I think COVID certainly exacerbated this, it induces anxiety and fear. And so people are increasingly, we know this, they're just disengaging and they're turning it off. I say, please don't do that. It's just never has there been maybe a more important time to be aware of what's happening in your community, in your province, in your country, and globally. But it's a matter of tempering that. I think it's incumbent on those in the news business to make sure we give the viewers a moment of lightness, a moment of levity, a moment of personality, or of, a smile or a laugh.
On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Let's go, Raptors!
Have you pictured it all, that last walk out these doors?
I know I'll miss so many aspects of it. I'm certain of that, particularly the viewers and particularly that connection. But I'm proud of these years. I really am. And I'm joyous at what we've accomplished. I'm excited about the future. And that's what I'm going to focus on when I leave.
Well, 20 years of excellence, of creativity is an amazing accomplishment.
Thank
so
you.
congratulations, and we'll be sorry to see you go.
Thank you, Ian. I appreciate it.